Hey, my name's Ashwin, and I'm a senior solutions engineer at Databricks. A few months ago, I was asked to figure out how our teams could work more effectively. That meant understanding what tools people rely on, where their time actually goes, and what they'd change if they could. Turns out that's a harder problem than it sounds. So we built a solution, and it turns out Databricks had everything we needed to do it. The obvious starting point was a survey. Send out a form, get structured data back, easy to analyze. But here's what I found. When you write a survey, you're encoding your assumptions into the questions. You're deciding what matters before anyone's answered. And the responses reflected that. Everyone picked the same things, nobody filled out the open-ended box, and I learned almost nothing I didn't already believe in. On the other end of the spectrum, you can have actual conversations, but 50 people, 30 minutes, 25 hours of interviews alone, and that's before you do any sort of analysis. It just doesn't scale. So naturally, this feels like a great problem for AI. Build something that has real conversation, adapts to who it's talking to, asks the right follow-ups, and runs at the scale of a survey. And Anthropic proved exactly that with their AI interviewing. They ran over 1,000 interviews across scientists, creatives, and the general workforce. And the results were remarkable. 97% of participants said that AI captured their thoughts well, and exceeded that of human interviewers. And it actually surfaced deeper insights. I'll link the report in the description. It's worth reading and inspired a lot of this work. And so the question for us became, how do we scale this within our own organizations? So the goal was clear. Replace the form with a conversation. Something that feels like talking to an intelligent colleague who actually cares about what you're working on and where the friction is, not just collecting your answers. It should adapt to what you say, follow interesting threads, but also find a natural conclusion to the conversation as well. But getting the AI to hold a real conversation, that took real work. Early versions were just bad, sycophantic, verbose, always agreeing with whatever you said. It asked broad questions with no specificity, no options, and nothing to react to. It had no organizational context, so participants had to over-explain just to keep things moving, and the whole thing felt like a checklist, marching through topics instead of actually following a thread to find something real. So what does a good AI interviewer actually look like? It starts with context, enough that the participant doesn't feel like they're onboarding a stranger. It prioritizes depth. One workflow explored thoroughly will always surface more than skimming across a dozen topics. It adapts to the person's role, their expectations, what they actually want to talk about. And finally, it converges. It doesn't just fade out or loop. And from a solutioning perspective, we wanted to run this on your infrastructure with a model that you choose, asking questions that you care about. So Databricks wasn't just convenient, it really made this whole thing scale properly. The architecture starts with two personas, the participant and the researcher. They both need a front end. React gives us streaming conversations on one side, a management dashboard on the other. Express and the AI SDK sit in the middle, routing everything to Databricks. Model serving hosts Claude, enterprise governed, nothing trained on your data. Lakebase stores every conversation in managed Postgres, and the front end and back end gets wrapped into a Databricks app for a serverless, easy deployment. Let's see an example. The campaign is set up for data engineers and their managers. The interviewer is tuned to catch workflow frustrations and go deeper when it finds them. Now let's step into the platform. We're calling it Pulse. Kevin's a data engineer. He enters his name, selects his role, and notes how long he's been in it. That small amount of context does a lot. It means that the interviewer can skip the basics and meet Kevin where he is. Let's take a look at what this interview looks like. Now let's switch to the researcher side. As interviews come in, the dashboard tracks everything. Who's completed, who's in progress, filterable by role. But the real question isn't what did each person say, it's what are all of them telling us. That's what the Generate Report button is for, where we want to create as effective of a report as Anthropic did. Let's see how that works. When the researcher clicks Generate Report, it runs a two-pass pipeline. First, Claude reads each interview individually, extracting themes, sentiment, pain points, and direct quotes as structured data. Then a second pass synthesizes across all of them, surfacing patterns and contradictions that no single conversation could reveal. This is how we were able to match the depth of the analysis in Anthropic's research output. Let's take a deep dive into that. The structured research report opens with top-line findings synthesized across every conversation. Themes ranked by prevalence and sentiment. A time pain matrix that shows exactly where the team is bleeding hours. For our data engineers, request triage and tribal knowledge are in the top right quadrant. Tool fragmentation across workflows. Behavioral archetypes. And a story bank of direct quotes organized by impact. Every visualization is generated from the conversations specific to this team, this problem. And of course, each step could be anonymized if desired, and eventually shipped as a PDF to a wider audience. That's how we go from conversations to insights with our app Pulse, entirely built on Databricks. Everything you need to build your own interview campaigns will be included in the repository in the description. Thank you for watching.